Hey there! In Route to Evacuation, you play as a scientist attempting to escape Black Mesa, and it comes with quite a few unique aspects that I plan on analyzing and reviewing in this video. And by analyzing, I truly mean analyzing. I spent an approximate 10 years of my life mapping for the Source engine. Murderers get less. And while the only thing I have to show for it is about 300 unfinished maps on my hard drive, I also know how to make maps. Well, in theory at least, definitely. The mod thus far only lasts for about an hour. More chapters are planned to release eventually. In this 1 hour, they managed to do some pretty impressive things though. So I'm gonna use my 10 years of source knowledge to highlight the peaks and discuss the shortcomings of Black Mesa Route to Evacuation. The mod straight up tells you at the beginning that it can be played in 2 different ways, and that you have to watch out for this, which will be relevant a lot later. You awake as a scientist, no pre-disaster sequence, no knowledge of how you got here, and no weapons to defend yourself with. Before moving at all, you get to scout the area up ahead. If you've played tons of Half-Life mods and games, you may have forgotten, but Half-Life certainly does have a horror element to it. And some people are scared to move room to room in Half-Life. This giant window into the next room is the mod giving the player a hand and telling them, look, nothing's there. Which is a nice switch up, since usually, whenever you get to look through a window in Half-Life, you get to see unimaginable horrors. You also get introduced to the mechanic of throwing objects, which will be used a lot for the first segment of the mod. The established security the window provided you is then immediately taken away from you, as when you leave, a headcrab spawns in. You are now meant to fight this surprise attack using what you just learned, throwing objects. In this case, it's a flare to ignite the headcrab.
Yes, science!
Using the same window scouting mechanic, you then get a view of an optional path where a health kit is placed, though you also see a sleeping zombie next to it, with more flares you can use to attack. So it is up to you to evaluate the risk of going in there or not. Obviously, an experienced Half-Life player will not have all these thoughts going on in their head and instead just rush through the room because they know how to fight. But all these subtle mechanics are what make games great, and especially what made Half-Life stand out back in the day. This entire room serves as a great introduction to the dangers of the facility, the throwing mechanic, and the risk and reward of off-pass. This next room will introduce a new hazard, whoa! Rogue lasers, and it does this pretty nicely. Oh, was that cringe? Crouching through the first door, the laser reaches into your room, but it's way too high to hit you. Jumping through the hole is the first real challenge, from which point forward you're dodging lasers like a criminal in an old heist movie stealing a comically large diamond. All the while you continue using flares to kill zombies. Unfortunately, I think that after this perfectly executed introduction, this room kinda falls short. Mostly due to being underutilized. You simply have to leave this room by holding, not pressing, E on this retinal scanner. Which took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to figure out, even though there is an on-screen HUD element telling you this. Imagine surviving the resonance cascade in a full-on alien invasion, just to die because you couldn't hold E on a button. I was genuinely just an old person staring at the please insert credit card screen. But yeah, this room falls really short. There even are optional side paths, but they serve no purpose. So here's how I think this room could be vastly improved. These lasers shining through the already established glass walls of the side rooms are the perfect opportunity to introduce a button you have to press on both sides. You are already able to enter these side rooms, but they serve no purpose as of now. With this change, you get more gameplay out of the lasers and you'd be forced to enter the side rooms to press a button to open the door. Optionally, one room could have lasers shine through it, and the other room would just have zombies in it with flares again. So you have to combine everything you've learned thus far into one room. This would reward the player for actually adapting to the surroundings and wouldn't just make this room a minor annoyance you immediately pass through. This mod is still a work in progress, and these are some easy changes that I would love to see the developers add in some capacity at least. You don't have to do exactly what I said, even though feel free if you want to, but adding something to this room is needed, I think. The following hallway serves as more world building. You see a security guard get taken out by zombies, and another dead body being eaten by a zombie. You are also introduced to barnacles, which is probably the most introduced character in any game of all time. Basically every mod has a barnacle introduction sequence. It's basically a guaranteed spot on the Half-Life mod bingo, and hey, I'm here for it, I love it. Zombies approach you and you are forced to run because there are no flares around here. Also to notice that this new zombie variant is pretty cool to see, based on the suit scientists from Opposing Force. For more world building, we see Vortigons interacting with human technology. This is hinting at an entirely new aspect of the Nihilant's law not yet explored in any Half-Life game. And honestly, I'm here for it. I hope to expand upon it in future chapters. I have some more theories regarding Vortigons, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alternatively, I also love the idea of Vortigons having a side hustle in IT. You are then introduced to the fact that turrets are hostile, as you see them take out Xenians and a security guard crawling on the floor, which leads into a puzzle of you having to disable it through the vents. This was nicely pulled off, and you get some more opportunities of throw fighting. I actually really enjoyed the fact that it didn't give the player a weapon, and instead had them use this underutilized mechanic of throwing objects. This ends now though as we receive the crowbar, which marks the end of the intro of this mod, as we are now properly armed. There are then 2 cool cameos, which you know I love. Both happen over security screens. On one monitor you get to watch Gina Cross and Colette Green on their adventures.
Lock it down! Yeah! What are we waiting for? Cover me! I'll keep you covered.
And on yet another one, you can see the scientists that die in the elevator in the beginning of Half-Life 1's campaign enter the fateful elevator. Timeline-wise, this places us at about the point of time where Gordon Freeman wakes up, or some time before that, which we don't really know how much time passed between Gordon passing out and waking up again. The gameplay starts to become a bit more normal here. It's just about what you expect from a Black Mesa mod. Another interesting lore element is green zaps and orbs appearing mid-air from time to time. Some of them are definitely just regular Zen portal openings, but I don't think that certain ones are. It may just be a visual reimagining, but I like to believe that this is actually hinting at something else going on. After wandering around on our own for the first 10 minutes or so, we then meet our first companions, 2 scientists and a security guard that seems to recognize us.
Howard, is that you? Damn man, I don't know how you got here, but it's good to see you.
Our name is Howard, as we come to find.
Who are you?
The security guard is actually voice acted pretty well. There's an accent, but I just think that makes it more charming, to be honest.
I'll activate the emergency system. The way in will be unblocked, but be careful, the path will become much more dangerous.
Another perk of an accent is that it's unlikely that it's AI. At least as of uploading this video. It will probably not be relevant anymore in like 2 months or whatever. Oh god. He unlocks the security measures for you, warning you that while you may be able to continue on your path now, it will be a lot more dangerous, since the security measures are down. He also gives you his gun, which uses a custom Desert Eagle model that looks pretty nice. I may also add that this mod has its own custom soundtrack, which I've been using throughout this video. Also, I know that wasn't a Desert Eagle. What do you think I am? I don't misrecognize a Desert Eagle. On past videos I've realized that whenever I say something wrong about a gun model, there's about 1,000 people that comment about it. So yeah, don't worry, I was just rage baiting the gun people. I know it's a cult. But yeah, on custom soundtracks are a great way to give a unique vibe to a mod. There are a ton of mods I remember just by the soundtrack. So adding a custom soundtrack to your mod, even if it's just one singular track, is always a great idea. The vibe switch now that the security measures are down is impeccable. The red lights signal danger. Ominous music starts playing. Most lights are out. The atmosphere is simply amazing and one of the best I've ever witnessed in Half-Life mods, period. Another great thing this mod does is play with colors in a beautiful way. You may know of Half-Life Echoes and watched my video on it about, 3 years ago or something. In that mod I also loved how they played with colors. And this is basically the Black Mesa equivalent of that. Which isn't to discredit Half-Life Echoes, by the way. That mod is great. But actually seeing these concepts come to life in high definition is pretty cool. I genuinely can't get enough of these beautiful, dark hallways lit up by the colorful lights of the Black Mesa computers. My advice to all aspiring mappers out there, use colored lighting in some way. Take it from me who made maps using nothing but bright white lights for years. Even just changing it to a light yellow tone instead of the pure white it is by default does so much. It turns your maps into Mexico actually. Before the security measures were disabled, you saw a lot of detailed paths you couldn't go down, which I had first believed to be a waste of effort. Now that the measures are down though, you begin to backtrack and actually go down these side paths, some of which you were able to scout this way. And if you have good memory, you may remember seeing a hound eye in this hallway before, or zombies in the server room, so you can know what's coming once you return. Remember there being alternate ways this game can be played? This becomes relevant now. We meet this construction worker, who looks like me but 30 years older, who tells us to be quiet. Which is because this following segment can actually be stealthed if you so wish. So let me just reiterate. A visually impressive Black Mesa mod that leans into the horror atmosphere of Half-Life with optional stealth mechanics. Someone cooked here. Okay, that's the last Breaking Bad reference, I swear. The stealth segment is short and sweet, but also not the only one in this mod. Far from it. The mod also switches up aesthetics here, which was needed after the first third of it so far was spent in the samey looking labs for most of it, as good as they may look. We now move through a logistical area of the facility, including small bits of canals and more types of backrooms. You receive the Glock, which you immediately get to use in a perfectly set up arena for it, in which 3 Vortigons spawn in. Another thing they did here, which should be utilized way more often in Half-Life mods, is using sound cues for buttons. Especially in environments like those of Half-Life 1/Black Mesa, it is often very hard to tell which of the dozens of buttons around you is actually meant to do something. Simply having a player's slightly annoying sound is a great way to guide the player. I wouldn't recommend mappers doing it with every single button, but if the players are usually confused in playtests, it's a great way to solve this problem. Just make sure to not overdo it basically. The next few rooms follow the same principles and do so greatly, up until we get introduced to the HECU where the gameplay changes slightly again. First off, you are able to stealth some sections once more, or even avoid fights entirely. My one minor critique here being that the stealth part requires you to look up at one point. It is common knowledge in game design that gamers never look up unless you seriously put in the effort for them to do so. I think at this part it's already somewhat well solved because the crates guide your eyes upwards, but I would recommend honing in even more on this by perhaps adding more lights or something. Outside of this minor nitpick, the stealth segment is perfectly executed. In general, this mod offers quite a few alternate paths, either to avoid fights or just to take a different route. And usually, these are hinted at by markings on the wall. I have a theory that these green markings may be connected to the Vortigons and the weird orbs flying around. Perhaps Harold was chosen by the Vortigons in some way. We've had enough mods of the POV of a G-Man candidate. We need Vortigons to be more in the focus, even though it doesn't really make sense that they are still enslaved at this point, but you figure something out. I'm sure it can work somehow. It must also be noted that the HECU's arrival is actually a bit early. From the moment you see the scientists entering the elevator to the HECU being introduced, it takes about 15 minutes, which means that Gordon must have woken up, made his way through anomalous materials and office complex in 15 minutes. Really pushing it by that point. Though to solve this in my headcanon, I simply imagine that this is the universe in which Desync plays Half-Life 1. In which case 15 minutes may actually be too much. For another highlight, you have to pick up a ballistic shield off the ground and use it to block a turret, which was a really fun idea. You also get the AK added to your arsenal, which I believe was custom made for this mod. The credits are rather ambiguous as to who contributed what exactly. Either way, nice looking gun. The last 10 minutes of this mod are either a huge battle or a really intricate and really well made stealth segment. Seriously, if you love stealth, this is a must play. And before getting to the very shocking ending of this mod, let me first do my quick, full review of it. The mod is of high quality in every regard. The custom soundtrack is great, the custom weapons are awesome. The Vortigons working with human technology and the green orbs and markings that may hint at something more going on is awesome. At least I hope I'm onto something there. I may be wrong entirely, but I think it would be a wasted opportunity to not do something more with this. I just love mysteries in any capacity. The voice acting of this mod was superb. The stealth sections were unique and awesome, especially given the horror vibe this mod massively leaned into. And the level design was great enough to carry all these amazing aspects in both guiding the player and aesthetics. Special shout out once more to how great the colors were used in this mod. The singular thing I can criticize is this room being underutilized, which is a pretty great singular complaint to have. It genuinely can't be overstated how hard it is to make Black Mesa mods. At this level of quality, they are definitely the hardest thing to make in the Source engine, and require the highest amount of skill you can have. That of AAA developers back when that used to mean something. This is also the reason why there's only about 4 campaigns on the workshop, because these take so much effort and years to make at this level. The fact that this mod or any other Black Mesa mod is free to play as long as you own the base game is crazy. But I guess the value of having a Black Mesa mod on your portfolio makes it worth it for the modders. Still, support them in any way you can, be that by simply liking and commenting on their mods, or donating if they have links for that. So, let us now get to the ending of this mod, which is actually pretty unique. After either watching or participating in a very large battle between Vortigons and the HECU, we ascend using an elevator, which takes a hilarious amount of time, and then we get captured by the HECU. This mod is not finished yet, there are only 2 chapters thus far. It may take years until we get the next ones though, we don't know. I'm really excited to see where this team goes with the arc of being captured, the Vortigons, and if we actually manage to escape Black Mesa. In the meantime, go and play this mod, there's a lot more to discover here that I didn't discuss in this video. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my admittedly pretty overly detailed analysis of this mod. If you enjoyed it, please consider supporting my Patreon. Every pledge helps. The YouTube algorithm is awful and I need your direct support to help me keep making these videos. On Patreon you get exclusive videos like me playing this mod blind, early access to videos like the one you're watching right now, your name in the credits of all my videos, and lots more perks. Any support is appreciated, thank you so much. You may enjoy one of the videos on screen right here. Especially this one, I recommend this one. I cover the Half-Life mods found on the 2000 Counter-Strike CD here, and I think it's a pretty good video that sadly didn't get a lot of views. But yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching.
Who are you? Me? Nobody. I just need to talk to my
Scientists.